Welcome to Amazing Grace Learning Center. This is where you will hear teachings about our true self. And thank you for tuning in again as we continue with the series on the Christ, our higher self, the Christ which is universal, the mind of the Father, the mind of our Father, Mother God, and Jesus, the perfect being, the perfect manifestation of this Christ. Last time we ended our teaching with a word. And the word that we ended our teaching by last time is grace. For without grace, no one can understand these things. The carnal mind tries to tell us that we have to do this and that to get this knowledge, or we have to do this and that to be our true self, which is a deception. It's an illusion. For whatever we try to do in order to be is out of grace. And it's the very reason why we cannot be. It's the very reason why this knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding seems to be very far away from us. Because by trying to do in order to be, you are denying yourself. You fall into denial. You are denying your true self. And you believe in what somebody has made you believe, that you have to do this and that to be yourself. And many of us are finding difficult, hard. And many of us have been seeking for years without finding. And even some of us have reached the level of being weary and doubting the word, doubting the goodness of our Father, doubting the mercy, the grace of our Father. Because the moment you believe that you have something to do to get to this level, you have forsaken yourself. You have denied yourself. Imagine going around looking for your glasses, scolding everybody in the house, shouting at everybody, "Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses?" Not realizing that your glasses are right there on your head. How can you find your glasses when you do not realize that your glasses are already there? How can we find ourselves when we believe that we have a lot of things to do to be ourselves? You see, my brothers and sisters, grace is the foundation of realizing who we truly are. Because by grace, everything is given freely. No condition attached to it. No price whatsoever to be paid. For anything that is given you as wisdom, knowledge, understanding is yours. And all this wisdom, this knowledge and understanding have been waiting for you to enter grace, to enter the rest, so that it can freely be revealed to you without any condition. But the moment we fall into this trap of the ego, which wanna keep us roaming around, seeking without finding, when we fall into the trap of the ego that tends to tell us that we have to do this and that in order to be ourselves, all that has been prepared for us will be held back until we accept grace and understand that it is all by grace. Today, we would like to go a bit further to talk about the birth of the Virgin. In our previous teachings, we have mentioned that when the Christ is birthed in our hearts, in that cave of our hearts, the Christ goes through stages which are called the ladder of ascension. And just as a ladder has many steps, the steps of the ladder of the ascension of the Christ are divided into 33 steps according to the esoteric meaning of the ascension ladder of the Christ. And what do these 33 steps mean? The 33 steps of the ascension of the Christ are the stages of initiation. They are stages of initiation because when we embrace our true self, when the Christ is birthed in our hearts through the birth of the Virgin, which I'm going to come back to shortly. When the Christ is birthed, we go through initiation. Every human on this planet goes through initiation. The initiation are the stages that we pass through to become fully conscious and aware of the Christ within. Now, what does the Bible mean by the birth of the Virgin? We have all heard the story of Jesus. But what religion has told us about Jesus is half true. Because Jesus, as we all know him, had a father and a mother. Jesus had a biological father and a biological mother. The biological mother of Jesus is who we know as Mary. And the biological father of Jesus is the one we know as Joseph. But what is the meaning of the birth of the Virgin? In the case of Jesus, the conception of Jesus was all orchestrated by the divine. Because in those days, things were not as they are today. Marriage was a sacred thing. To enter into the covenant of marriage with somebody was a sacred thing. It's not what it is today. So, for Joseph to become the husband of Mary, the woman that was consecrated and was brought up at the temple, because Mary was a woman that was brought up at the temple. It's a woman that has been prepared to be the mother of Jesus. But the lot fell on Joseph to be the husband of Mary. And it was divinely orchestrated. It was divinely orchestrated. It wasn't by accident. It wasn't by impulsion. It wasn't by sensual desires. It wasn't by any bodily gratification. It was all orchestrated by the divine will. And that's how Mary became the wife of Joseph. And even when Jesus was to be conceived, it was all ordained according to the instructions that the angels have given to the couple. So they went by the instructions given by the angels. So everything was divinely ordained, orchestrated. But what we were not told is, we were not told that Jesus had a biological father. And many people have believed that since Jesus is conceived supernaturally, as we have been told by the Spirit, many people have seen themselves lower than Jesus. What do I mean by that? Many people have thought that what Jesus did, he is the only one who can do that. And many people have believed that we do not have what it takes to do what Jesus did, which is a lie, which is a deception. So when we know the truth and know that the Jesus that we know of, according to the Bible, had a father and a mother, just like you and I. For if we know or we knew that Jesus had a father and a mother, just like us, I believe many people will have released their faith long time ago to believe what Jesus told us when he said, what I did, you too can do it. For Jesus himself said, what I did, you can do it too. How can we do what Jesus did if we are not told the truth? How can we do what he did if we do not know the truth? How can we do what he did if we do not understand that Jesus began like us, studied, and through knowledge, wisdom, and understanding he was able to do what he did. Let's not forget. Let's not forget that the entire life of Jesus is an illustration of the stages of the Christ within. For I have said that the steps of the ladder of ascension are 33. And the 33 stages are all depicted or all illustrated through the life of Jesus. From his birth to his death and his resurrection. And his coming back, his second coming. Which means when we study the life of Jesus, every step of his life is an image of the Christ within. It's an image of the steps that the Christ within takes to ascend to heaven within and to come back to be the ruler of the world, which is the kingdom within. Now let's go back to the birth of the Virgin. What does the Bible mean by that? What is the esoteric meaning of the Virgin's birth? Talking about Mary or asking whether Mary was a virgin or not, personally, I do not focus on that. Where I am right now, we have to learn to get rid of anything the ego is trying to use to suck our energy. Because the ego will always try to use our energy or to make us use our energy on things that do not profit us. Whether Mary was a virgin or not, it doesn't help anybody here. What we know now is Jesus had a father, he had a mother. That's enough. Which means we are now all coming to understand that what he did, we too can do it. If we are willing and abide in grace, and we are willing to learn. And let us remind ourselves that learning during this process is not as if what you are learning is new. It's not new. You are being reminded. Everything that you are listening to, anything that anyone will teach us, it's just a reminder. Anything that is coming to help us realize our true self is a reminder. Because when we fall into the deception that I don't know, it becomes harder. It becomes harder, and the things that we are sharing here now, the carnal mind cannot get it. The carnal mind cannot understand it. And when we have the mind of I don't know and I need somebody to teach me these things, well, we are dwelling in the carnal mind, and we listen to these things and we feel like this is too much. We feel like, well, even some people think I'm not a pastor, I'm not this and that, therefore I don't need all this. But it's not true. It's again the deception of the ego, which want to keep us. The ego want to keep us in bondage. The ego want to keep us in death. The ego want to keep us in ignorance, because that is its food. Ignorance is the food of this ego. Therefore, the ego does not want you to break through that ignorance. The ego does not want you to break through that barrier that is making you feel like, oh, I don't know what is ahead. I don't know what is beyond the limitations. Therefore, I don't want to try to get there because I'm afraid of getting there. No, we have to break through all this. And the only way to do that is to realize and believe that all that we need to be able to realize who we truly are is already here. It is already ours. The birth of the Virgin takes place when a time comes and we release our faith, because the Christ is not birthed, though it is within, but we use the expression of being birthed because the Christ within is in the state of, if I can say, as if the Christ is dormant. The Christ is at sleep within. Until we hear something, until we see something, and what we hear or what we see becomes the trigger. It becomes the trigger of the resurrection or the awakening of this Christ within. For many of us, the trigger has been the person of Jesus, because when we hear the story of Jesus, we see Jesus, what he reminds us of is our true self. He reminds us of our true self. And that has been a trigger. That has been the trigger that has awakened the Christ within. For some, it might not be Jesus. It might be another figure. It might be another person. It might be an event. It might be something. And that event, that person, that situation, or whatever it is, no matter what it is, that thing has reminded us. That thing has reminded us of our true self. And the Christ was awakened within. And the journey has started. We shall continue next time. Till then, I love you. Bye.